created in the 80s by legal scholars. It is not a part of Illinois state standards, Illinois code, any of the pieces that we use to write our curriculum. Critical race theory is not a part of the curriculum that we run here in District 117.
Yes, it is.
So then we'll move on to some data that we do have from last year. While data was hard to come by, we do have several slides to share with you, starting with our cum laude students. And so these are the students that represent what we hope every graduate in District 117 can attain. There are different components that come together for a cum laude graduate. We did adjust it for the past 2 years. So you see that big spike there in 1920. The spike exists in part because we did not have an appeal board that year. We didn't restrict somebody from cum laude. So you do see a little bit of a jump. What we did then for last year was to adjust more of our cum laude component. We took attendance off the table, but we still do work with our students on volunteer hours, their curriculum, or their credits that they're having here as part of the school, their behavior, and the other components of cum laude. So we were thrilled to see that we're able to maintain about 30% of our district students are reaching this level of cum laude. And that's something we continue to talk to our students about. It's an achievement that they reach in and grab. It's not something that we just bestow upon a student. So they have to go out and take those steps to be a cum laude graduate. The other piece of data that I think is important to look at is our dual credit enrollment. We have increased the opportunity for our students to take dual credit classes. And what that means is they're taking classes here in high school that are also translated to a college transcript. Now, we started the program, we have about 120 students in the district taking advantage of some type of dual credit course. We were able to expand the opportunities we have for dual credit courses. We now have dual credit happening in math, pre-calculus honors. A variety of our English 4 courses are dual credit offerings, as well as our CAD classes. And so you see wonderful growth happening there. We have relationships with College of Lake County. They offer us free opportunities for dual credit through our CAD courses. And then we also have relationships with the University of Wisconsin-Oshkosh, where they're supporting our math and our English dual credit opportunities. So I will hand it over to my partner, Jacqueline, who will talk a little bit more about data.
So moving on to some more data points, we have our data from our AP exams. And one thing that we can celebrate is that our students continue to not only enroll in our AP classes, but sign up for the AP exams. And we believe that that is largely in part to the school board adopting the policy to cover a large portion of the cost of the AP exams. So as you can see here, we have a large number of exams given and a large number of students testing, and that has increased. Last year, the challenge was that College Board kept changing their recommendations for content standards and changing the format of the test. We went from our typical 1 window of AP exams to 5, and so students were having to make decisions. Some students chose not to test under the pressures of last year, and so we did see a little dip there, but we are hopeful that our continued work with emphasis on skills and relationship building will help build the confidence in our AP students to sign up for those exams this year and continue to take our AP classes. So we are really hopeful that we will see this rebound. And again, we truly appreciate the board's willingness to support and defray the cost of those exams. Those exams become much more accessible and equitable for our students to be able to take them when the board is covering 90% of them. Next, well, it's kind of hard to see there, but we have students that are scoring 3 or higher in the district in our comparison to the state of Illinois and the national averages, or actually that means the global average that includes international exams. And we've been pretty proud of our performance in our AP exams. Again, here's an opportunity after last year for us to look at how are we building confidence in our AP students as they go through the AP classes in order to feel that they can take the exam. And again, we do believe that our dip last year was largely with respect to the challenges of last year. And we are hopeful with our focus on those skills and supporting our students that they'll be able to bring those scores back up a little bit. But again, we're proud that we had such a large number of students in the district still take exams and still participate in these AP classes even with last year's conditions. With SAT, this is an area where we are looking at the percent of juniors in our district in both buildings meeting the benchmarks for math and evidence-based reading and writing. As you can see here, we have seen a dip in this score reporting, and we are still above the state and the global average. That is a national average there, you can see. But this is something that's really come to our attention. Jory and I are being very intentional in our work on teaching and learning and working with our department chair teams and our staffs to identify ways to address the skills that are in our SAT testing. And the goal there is, if we're working on the skills, building students' confidence in the skills, in addition to, again, reconnecting with students, building our relationships with students, that they are more likely to perform well on the SAT. So we are working on school-wide efforts to identify areas that we can work on skills and support across the curriculum in every class. Our students working on those different skills, because we want to make sure that we're serving our students and helping them prepare for those skills for those post-secondary plans. Now, as we're working for this year, so Jory looked at the rearview mirror a little bit, and we're going to talk about this year and moving forward. First, we are continuing our work tying all of our core learning targets to now products. So we're looking at rubrics, assessments, performance events, and we're identifying where those learning targets are matching. And if we find there's a gap, we determine, is it time for us to adjust the learning targets, or is it time for us to make something that connects to it, whether if we believe it's important, there's a performance event, an assessment of some kind, a goal at the end of those learning targets. So last year was a lot of the developing of the targets. This year is now evaluating our products that we have with our curriculum and identifying there. We're also working on verbal articulation. So we are trying to intentionally align our freshman through senior courses and identify what are the major skills that students should be gaining as they go through those courses. And the ultimate goal of that process is to increase student independence and ownership of their own learning as they get closer to graduation. So our goal here is to be intentional with, we know our freshmen need a lot of support. They need a lot of different things in place to help them learn the ways of high school. But as we're seeing students enter into junior and senior year, we should start to turn over some of that initiative to them and give them the tools so they can continue that on their own as they leave the halls of our buildings. Oh, sorry, go back for a second. Thank you. With relation to all this, we are really proud to be not only identifying teaching and learning strengths and challenges in our district, but to also be working hand in hand with our student services team. You saw last month, the student services team talked about relationship building and reconnecting students to our building, and we believe that goes hand in hand with the curricular success. We believe that as we work together with relationship building, this will build the confidence in our students to then focus on those skills. We know that if a student is struggling social emotionally, they're not going to have as easy of a time to focus on those academic times. So we are working intentionally with student services, working with our counterparts, the assistant principals, and the teams to support that academic success by supporting social emotional learning. And we're looking at how we're then assessing that information. How are we asking our students to provide us feedback? How are we measuring that we're actually accomplishing what we're setting out to do? So we believe with all these things together that we're able to support our students' growth in skills and get back online and move us forward, because we know what happened last year and we are excited to be moving forward and to be rebuilding and expanding as opposed to be focusing on the past. So thank you very much. I am going to turn it over to our awesome instructional coaches to talk to us about what they do, and then we'll take questions at the end.
So again, thank you. We are the instructional coaches. We have Melissa, Sarah, myself as Megan, and Amber representing the two different coaching programs that we have here. We wanted to show you pictures of our space that we have. So at Lakes, there's the tea room, and then at Antioch, here's the idea pad. So if you're walking around and you see these collaborative spaces, This is where we are doing our coaching with the staff and where we're hosting our professional developments as well. A major component of what we do as instructional coaches is actually what we call impact cycles. And that's based off of the work of Jim Knight and Elena Aguilar, where we have been trained to work with our staff on their goals that they have to move forward with student success. So we are responsive when we are working with our teachers and our administrators as well. We have partnerships with them. And we're always looking forward to what they want to improve on and how we can support them.
So you'll notice that our data for our very first year was one guinea pig for an impact cycle. And this is simply because we were trying to figure out what the cycle was going to look like. We were practicing, and so we had one brave soul who said, yes, I'll try it. And then go to year 3. That was last year. And during the pandemic, because we had so many different things that were happening, so many teachers came to all of us and said, we really, really want to work on our craft. We want to make sure that we're serving our students. And so we went from one cycle in year 1 all the way up to 53 different impact cycles. So 53 different people worked on a variety of goals. And then this year, we're really proud of the fact that already 24 teachers so far have signed up to work on different goals. And most of those goals that they're working on fall under 2 umbrella categories: student achievement and student engagement. And there's a lot of things that go along with that and a lot of different avenues that we explore those 2 umbrellas. But overall, we're really, really proud of the work that our teachers are doing, and we're facilitating their growth through these impact cycles.
One of the things that we wanted to highlight is not only do we have the opportunity to support teachers in a way that is personal and specific to their needs and their goals, but we also have the opportunity to provide a ton of professional development to our entire faculty about whatever specific goals we have for our building and our district as a whole. And some other things that we provide, best practices for our equity, relief, I was going to say relief through leadership, response to intervention, social and emotional learning, and one of our biggest pride as being coaches is relationships. So we really spend a lot of time getting our staff to have those positive interactions that provide us with that great culture that we appreciate so much about District 117.
So my colleagues here have done a great job of talking about all of the things that our program does. We thought it would be nice, though, to hear from people who have actually experienced a coaching or an impact cycle. So we had some people who've gone through our cycles with us give us a little snapshot of what going through an impact or a coaching cycle meant to them, how it impacted their teaching or their professional development. So I'd like to go ahead and play the video so we can hear what some of our colleagues had to say.
One of the things I love about the idea path is that coaches don't just introduce concepts or strategy and then move on to something new the next time around. They take the time to delve deeper into the topic, visiting it often. They check in with us to see how we're progressing. They have a way of pinpointing what we need and guiding us through the action steps and the reflection process in a way that's meaningful.
So, pre-COVID, I did the coaching cycle with Amber, and it was a really cool program for me to be able to set my strengths, but also my weaknesses, and overall, it helped me be more consistent and confident with classroom management.
I absolutely love the individual impact cycle in the high impact community. They really helped me feel more a part of the school and transition into my first year here at Antioch Community High School. I haven't had an IDEA pad at any other district I've been a part of, and it truly makes a difference to the culture. Thanks, IDEA pad.
Hi, my name is Ophelia Ramos. I'm the science department teacher here at Leeds. I joined the coaching cycle last year, and it gave me the opportunity to work on my goal to make sure that everyone in my department had a voice. It was a pleasure to work with Amber, and we co-planned and talked about different strategies that I could implement during my meetings. It was nice to actually hear different voices to share out on the meetings that followed.
I didn't really know what I was missing before we had instructional coaches, and now I know that.
How about instructions for the students? Protection for them?
So those are just a few voices of the many staff members that we work with, and I think across the board, they would tell you their experiences were relevant and meaningful and impactful. And we wanted to thank you so much for investing in our staff. You have given us a tremendous opportunity here, and our staff has greatly benefited from it, and because of that, our students have greatly benefited from it.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
That's what we're spending our money
We'd
on.
be happy to answer any questions that you have.
That's the crap they're spending our money on.
Starting with Mr. Peggy, any questions?
No, just really excellent presentation. And I'm a former teacher, and what you're doing in terms of coaching and so on would have been something that years back when I was teaching would have been very helpful. So I appreciate that, and I know that it's beneficial for teachers because you have someone coming in observing, helping, and guiding to achieve goals and things. And that was something when I was teaching years back didn't happen.
Probably for a reason.
Ms. Simpson, any questions or comments?
No, not at this time. Thank you very much.
How about Ms. Jacobs?
I have a question for you. The professional development, do you give hours for that? So you have hours to stay to do that?
Yes, so we are, an approved provider of professional development, and so we arrange ahead of time with the instructional coaches what type of professional development they're presenting, and their presentations are always based on some kind of research. It's always based on some kind of research, an author's work, a framework, and because they're using something that we can offer hours for that. So our teachers get professional development hours for attending any of the PE sessions. Occasionally there's like a fun, more like social or culture building thing that they're getting hours for, but for all of the professional development, there are hours.
Ms. Collins, any questions or comments?
No, just thank you. It's a short term. Thank you very much.
And I want to thank you on behalf of the board for all the hard work you've done. It's excellent. We appreciate all the work you've done. So thank you. All right, as we move on to extracurriculars up next.
Thank you, Mr. Sapsack, members of the board, hopefully everyone can hear me. I'm not a big fan of microphones. All right, excellent. So I'm here tonight to just highlight what's taken place over the last month or so as we are back and really a focus on the extracurricular programs and offerings here in District 117. I'm not going to go through all of them. I know those are on your board report, but I will go through a few highlights that I think are noteworthy. I'll start with the district level highlights. We've successfully launched and kind of thrust ourselves into the digital ticketing age. That's due in large part to Mr. Miles and his incredible crew. So we are now offering digital tickets to events like our home football game.